How much can you do with a picture of a random abandoned shoe? Let's jump into it and find out. I was out one evening doing some low light street photography and I stumbled across this abandoned shoe and I decided to take a long exposure image. Now, I'm not very good at giving my photographs fancy titles, which is probably why I don't enter many photography competitions. But there was something about the stillness of the shoe and the motion of the traffic and the buses travelling by in the background that made me want to compose a long exposure image. And with the release of Nik Collection 9 and all of its amazing features, tools and filters that you can use to creatively edit your photos, I thought this image would be a really good one to put Nik Collection 9 to the test. Now, before we get into it, I have to let you know that DxO did send me this software program and I am on their affiliate scheme. I do have a discount code and a link in the video description below that you can use to get yourself some money off any of the DxO products, and I might make a little bit of commission. Now, with that being said, all the thoughts in this video are my own, and I've been playing with Nik Collection 9 as a standalone software, a plugin for Lightroom Classic, and a plugin for DxO's PhotoLab 9 for the past week or so, and I've been getting to grips with it and seeing what it can do and what creative ways I can come up with to edit this photo. So we're going to jump into it, and first off I'm going to use DxO's PhotoLab 9 and Nik Collection 9 as a plugin. Then later in the video I'll show you how it's used as a plugin for Lightroom Classic and also how you can use it as a standalone program. So let's jump into it. Here we have the unedited Sony RAW file in DxO's PhotoLab 9, and I'm just going to switch on some of the basic tools in PhotoLab 9 to prepare this image. We've got the colour rendering for the DxO camera profile Sony A7 III, which is the camera that I used. Next up, we'll just add a little bit of the standard denoising. This image was shot at 100 ISO, so very little denoising needed. Next, we'll head over to the geometry page. I'm going to add the lens correction profile. This was shot with the Sony 50mm f2.8 macro lens, so very little lens distortion, but we'll get that added anyway. Next, I'm going to add the horizon leveling because I can see that this post was a little bit wonky. The traffic lights are a bit wonky, so let's get them a little bit more level. Just rock it this way. That looks good to me. We need to add a crop into that. I'm liking the look of this, but I kind of find this shop here a little bit distracting. So I'm going to use the cropping tool to just pull in. Use a bit of this as a bit of a frame and just see if we can move it up and just capture that top bit of light there. And there we go, that looks like a pretty good start to get me set up to edit and process this image inside Nik Collection's plugins. So we're going to click here and it will open up our plugin selector. And let's go into Color Efex. Now we've opened up the Color Efex, I'm going to show you some of these awesome filters and we're going to start with color grading. So we'll add that by clicking the plus, and we can start off with a basic preset. Now I kind of like this Cinegrade plugin. It's already what I had in mind for the edit of this photo, and as we swipe across you can see exactly what it's doing. Now what I love about this filter is it's not just applying it to the image and you're stuck with it. You can actually dive into the filter settings and adjust some of the parameters with this color wheel over here, and this is awesome. We've got the highlights, the midtones and the shadows, and we can move these around the image to really dial in the colors that we want. So I want some really deep blues into the shadows. We can push a few lighter blues into the midtones, and maybe a little bit of orange into the highlights. Let's go around about there, and that looks pretty awesome. There's the original. There is our color grade filter dialed in. Next up, I want to show you this soft focus filter. I've been a bit of a fan of shooting with diffusion filters recently, and when I open up the soft filter, I'm going to go down to this diffusion filter plugin. Let's swipe across. You can see it has just softened off this image of the shoe. It's not quite as sharp, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more cinematic, a little bit more classic looking. Probably a little too much. I'll just dial it down, dial down some of the opacity. Now, to me, at this stage, the shoe seems to be getting lost a little bit in the background. It's a little bit dark, so I'm gonna just close out the soft focus filter, and I'm just gonna go down to the levels and curves. Just add this, you can see it adds here, and I'm going to show you a really cool AI mask. We're going to go to object selection, and you can see that that AI mask has selected the shoe, and then what we can do is just give that shoe a little bit of a lift and make it pop a little bit more. There we go, that looks pretty awesome. Before, swipe across, and after, and that is looking pretty good to me. Another thing that we can add to make it look even more cinematic is the halation filter. Just press plus and it adds it over to the side there. Now, halation is a red glow on the highlights, and it's a characteristic typically associated with film photography. You can see there, it's making the highlights glow red. Now, this happens because the light travels through the film, hits the back of the camera and bounces back onto the film, and it's particularly apparent with film stocks like CineStill 800 that don't have the anti-halation remjet layer. A lot of modern film stocks do have an anti-halation layer, so it's not always present. You can see it looks really cool on the back of the shoe there. Now, what is fantastic about this filter is we can actually change the color of the halation using this hue slider here. Now, if I slide it across to kind of green color, you can see exactly what it's doing to the highlights there. It's making them glow green. Maybe just go back a little bit towards the blue. You can dial that into whichever color you really prefer. I'm going to keep it so this image is predominantly blues and reds though, so I'll just slide it a little bit over to the blue and find a nice blue tone. Now, to me, that looks pretty awesome, and I'm going to click apply and save that back out to DxO. And what it does here is it creates a new TIFF file inside the DxO film strip at the bottom of the page. So we've got our edit there, and we've got our original RAW file with those basic corrections we made in PhotoLab 9. Now we're back in PhotoLab 9 and I'm taking another look at the crop. I'm still finding this a little bit distracting, so I am just going to pull it in, just get rid of that, clean up the edges. I'm kind of a big fan of clean edges to my images, and let's just move that crop up actually and capturing that top corner and just tidy up that little corner there. I don't want to lose too much of the shoe at the bottom. I get really particular about the edges of images. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, if you really take note of what's on the sides of the frames of an image, but let me know in the comments if you're that particular about edges as well, or if it is just me, if people look in those areas of the image. So now that we've created a pretty cool looking cinematic edit and we've taken the edge off, I'm going to crack open a beer to take the edge off, and we're going to get really creative. We're going to jump in to some of the more creative and funky features that a bit more like graphic design than typical photo editing features that you might find in any other photo editing program. So let's jump back into it. Let's open up this image in the Nik Collection Analog Efex. I'm going to show you a really cool filter, and this is the double exposure filter, so we'll add it here. And an image that I'd like to use is this really cool image of a car at some traffic lights. So let's just push this up all the way over. You can see that was the long exposure image that I took previously, and this is the more recent long exposure image. So we can of course blend those together, get them looking something like that. I'm going to use this box just to straighten it up a touch and just zoom into this second image a little bit, move it over a touch so we've got both the car and the blue sign in. Still think I want to balance it towards image 1 a little bit more, and there you go, you've got a super cool double exposure effect. So let's apply that, and that looks pretty awesome for a double exposure. Now let's have a look at another really cool analog effect, and this time I'm going to show you the chromatic shift effect. This gives you that kind of 3D glasses kind of look. You can see there it's shifting over the image, and with that we can select whether we want a red and cyan shift, green and magenta, or a blue and yellow. That looks kind of cool, but it's a little bit all over the place. So one thing that is super cool, we can add the AI mask object selection. Let's get that shoe selected again. Once that's processed, you can see the chromatic shift is only happening within the shoe, and it's not exactly what I wanted it to go for. So we're going to select that mask and invert it. And now you can see that that chromatic shift is happening outside of the shoe, which looks pretty awesome to me. You can see it shifted over the image, and as I was saying earlier, I'm not a massive fan of distracting edges. So what I'm going to do is zoom into that chromatic shift and bring it right out so we don't have none of those crazy dramatic edges. And you can just move it around like this and kind of find the position that you're really happy with, and that looks pretty cool. Let's double up that with the double exposure from earlier. We're gonna have to recreate this. Where are we? And add in there. Let's get that car double exposure, see what that looks like. That is just mental. It almost makes you dizzy just looking at it. We'll cancel that one and close without saving. Now we've had a look at how Nik Collection 9 works as a plugin inside DxO, I'm going to show you some more features, but this time I'm going to show you how it can be used as a plugin in Lightroom Classic. So let's dive into it. And here you can see I've got the image in Lightroom Classic, and we can use Lightroom to make some basic adjustments, color temperature, contrast. We can do the usual, set it up for being processed inside Nik Collection 9 as a plugin for Lightroom Classic. And to do that, we go to the image in the film strip at the bottom, right click, up to edit in, and we can choose any of the Nik Collection plugins. Let's have a look at the Silver Efex this time. You'll see that the image processes and the Nik 9 Silver Efex plugin opens up. Now these are kind of black and white filters that can be applied. So let's have a look at some of the presets. Overexposed black and white, high contrast, high structure, harsh filter. So say we wanted to use one of these filters, we could further adjust it with some of the levels and curves. And once we got something that we were happy with, we wanted to put that back into Lightroom, we would simply click apply. It will process the image. And as you can see, it opens up in Lightroom Classic as a new image saved into the film strip at the bottom, We have of course got the original Sony RAW file with the adjustments that we've made, and we've got the new image that's been processed by Nik Collection 9, and we can make further adjustments in Lightroom if we feel we needed to. And as I mentioned earlier, Nik Collection 9 can be used as a standalone plugin to edit TIFF or JPEG files. Now, I shot this particular photo on my Sony a7 III, so I've been working from the Sony RAW file inside DxO PhotoLab 9 and Lightroom Classic. Now, what I'm going to need to do is convert the Sony RAW file into a TIFF. And to do that, I'm going to use DxO Pure RAW 6. So let's take a look at that. Here we have the DxO Pure RAW 6 start screen, and I'm going to add my Sony RAW file. I'm just going to select it from Finder and drag it in. Let's go to the process page, and you can see we're adding some deep prime XD3 noise reduction, and we're adding our lens corrections. So if we just swipe across, you can see exactly what Pure RAW 6 is doing to process this RAW file. But what we really want to do is turn this into a TIFF. So we're going to go make sure our export settings are set up correctly. We've got TIFF selected there, to the correct output folder, and just click process, and off we go. Once the RAW file is processed, we get this pop-up box. What do you want to do next? We're going to go to Finder, and we can see it here, DxO Deep Prime XD3 TIFF file. Now I'm going to open up the Nik Collection 9 program, and we're just going to drag that TIFF file across like this. There we go, and we can continue to edit and process this image inside Nik Collection 9 as a standalone program. And I'll just show you in the top corner here, we've got all our different plugins, the Color Efex, Silver Efex, Analog Efex, etc., and the sharpener output. And then say we process this image, we add some presets, we add some contrast curves, just the brightness, maybe the saturation, and we get something that we are happy with. We can export it there at the top. Preferences for custom export settings, JPEG quality, TIFF compression and quality, and off we go. We export the image. So now you've seen how Nik Collection 9 can be used as a standalone program, a plugin for Lightroom Classic, a plugin for DxO's PhotoLab 9, and it can also be used as a plugin for Photoshop. And I've only just scratched the surface of all the features, tools, effects and filters that are available in the whole of the Nik Collection 9. Now, if I was to cover every single one, this video would probably be hours long, but they are all really, really simple and easy to use, and you can do absolutely loads with them. So I hope you've enjoyed this introduction into the Nik Collection 9 and some of the features and tools that I've demonstrated in this video. If you have, don't forget you can get yourself a little bit of discount from DxO products by using my discount code in the video description below. If you want to find out more about DxO's PhotoLab 9, I'm going to link a video at the end of this one where I deep dive into a full editing tutorial inside PhotoLab 9. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about DxO's Pure RAW 6, I'll also link a video where I'd go into more detail about what Pure RAW 6 is and what you can do with it. So check out one of those two videos, whichever one you fancy, at the end of this one, and I'll see you in the next one.